Mute.
To be a very interesting time. So since you can hear me, I welcome all of you. And at this point, we want to say that we all know what we are here for. Is one those that own NGOs and those that intend to own NGOs, those that are interested or have passion. I'm having echo. I'm having echo something there. So while I welcome us, I would like us to just wait for another 5 minutes and see if we'll have more people in before we continue. Just 5 more minutes. Please bear with us. Thank you.
Have 5 minutes. Let's do our own private. I just want to. Is this our Abuja central body? Today is one NGO. If you log in, I think SAT president is still the before they say, hey, are you sure you're still on? We thought you are close. You were not at the last meeting.
Can you mute your microphone, please?
Hello, everyone. If you can hear me, sorry to be late. This is NLB speaking.
And Prof, welcome. Yeah, welcome. This is Senator Joko. We're trying to wait for a few more people.
3 more minutes.
We have
yes.
about 16 people who are on board. So
Okay.
just
Thank you. Thank you so much.
thank you, man.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
I'm calling your host immediately. No, okay. Oh, wow. We have 24 people already. That's awesome. So it's promising to be a very, very loaded, well-attended webinar. We are all welcome. Good afternoon. It's a very bright and sunny day, and we are glad that you were able to make it here. We can assure you that we have a very able speaker that would be able to give you all the information you need. But before then, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Reverend. I'm an architect, Reverend Victoria
No,
Ono. I'm an
it was on
architect
that
by
desk. I didn't
profession.
take it when I was leaving yesterday. It was.
Hello. Meeting. So my name is Reverend Victoria Ono. I'm an architect by profession, and I happen to be the Secretary General of the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons. And we usually hold these webinars on topics that actually would fit COSROPIN members and anybody that is invited to this platform. So you're all very, very welcome. And to be able to explain some of the things we do and also let you know what we have in stock for you this year, I'll be introducing the president of the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in the name of Senator Dr. Eze Ajoku, OFR. Sir, you're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone who is present. Thank you very much for joining us on this first webinar of the year. This year we have a lot of programs lined up for our members and for all those who are interested. This, of course, webinar, we will have another webinar on the 13th of March, where we'll be looking at understanding the aging process. We'll be looking at understanding the aging process. Also, on the 31st of March, we will be having another webinar on managing stroke. Managing stroke. We also plan to have another webinar on the 3rd of March. We'll be looking at hearing. As people age, they begin to have problems with their hearing abilities. So we'll be looking at that on the 3rd of March. Actually, we have circulated this program to all our state coordinators to share with their people, and we're hoping that they will share them. Well, we'll be having the 5th webinar in May, on the 17th of May, and the topic then will be measure your blood pressure accurately, control it, and live longer. That will be on the 17th of May. On the 5th of June, we'll be looking at the environment. The environment is very important for aging. It is a World Environment Day. And we are going to also be discussing the environment in a webinar. On the 23rd of July, we'll be having a health watch. We'll be looking at prostate, which has become a very, very serious problem, and we may merge it with cervical cancer on that day for people to be more educated on this program. On the on the 22nd of August, we will be having another health watch, and the topic will be arthritis. The topic will be arthritis. And also in September, we will have the World Alzheimer's Day, which will be on the 21st of September. That will be followed also on the 29th of September. We'll be looking at activities and knowledge sharing on aging and other matters. That will also be coming up. On the 9th of October, we will be having another webinar, because sight is very important to older persons. We begin to develop all sorts of problems. You can see I'm blinking my eyes because I don't have my glasses. So sight is becoming very important to older persons, and we will be discussing how to care and manage our sights on that day. In October, we are going to look at World Mental Health Day. And we are going to be discussing issues that affect the general health of older persons. On October 29th, we will also be talking again about stroke, which is a World Stroke Day. And finally, on the 14th of November, we'll be looking at diabetes. Diabetes is a common problem with older persons. And what we do is bring our specialists to look at them and to be able to discuss them with. Having given us the list of webinars we have this year, I want to officially welcome all of us to today's webinar. As you know, the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria is working with all older persons to try and make life easier for them. Over 150 members in all communities and with individuals to support aging process. Today is the World NGO Day, which is an annual event that recognizes and appreciates the efforts of NGOs and their impact on society. We're happy to have our beloved sister, Sister Anne, there. Madam, please, we want to appreciate you for once again coming to speak to us. I will look forward to more with you and all our other people. So welcome to today's event. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Senator. We are very always happy to have you, and you would always make out time for these webinars. God bless you. Thank you so much, sir. At this point, we want to go down to the business of the day. And we all know from the flyers you got that today is NGO Day. And to celebrate the World NGO Day, we are holding this seminar so that our members and their invitees get to know more about NGOs, how to operate the NGO, and how to go about making sure that they empower their communities. So at this point, I want to tell you a little bit about World NGO Day. It is actually celebrated to recognize the vital roles of non-governmental organizations in social development, human efforts, and advocacy. Their contributions to addressing global challenges, empowering communities, and promoting positive changes. Recognizing and appreciating NGO efforts is very important at this time in various social causes, because we all know that NGOs are actually non-governmental and they are usually not politically partisan. So they go into rural areas most of the time, grassroots, to ensure that whatever is their passion, what cause they are driving, is driven home. And so today is meant to encourage individuals to participate in non-for-profit initiatives. For those to take care of older persons, for instance, or take care of people of need, and so on and so forth. For people like that, you will be interested to make sure that you know what is actually happening. So today is another day to highlight the importance of volunteerism and community support, and also to inspire next generation to encourage them on social work and philanthropy. World is an annual event that recognizes and appreciates the efforts of NGOs and their impact on society. Celebrate, spread awareness, and inspire others to contribute to social causes. Whether through volunteering, donations, and advocacy, everyone can play a part in supporting NGOs. Everyone can play a part. You and I are expected to play a part. So on this day, individuals and organizations worldwide come together to appreciate and encourage these change makers. I want us to put our hands together wherever we are for change makers, and I'm sure that every COSROPIN member is a change maker. And a group of NGOs that have come together with like minds to see that the older persons are well taken care of. So at this point, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. We are blessed to have her. We are happy to have her. She has been in the NGO world for a long time, as far as I can remember. And her name is Madam Ene Obi. She is the country director of Action Aid Nigeria and the former convener of the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room. As AAN country director in February 2018, she worked in various capacities within Action Aid Federation. Notable is her role as a consultant supporting Action Aid International's Gender Responsive Public Service, GRPS, under Action Aid Denmark. Within the last 14 years, Ene has worked in over 15 countries across Asia and Africa, lending various Action Aid projects towards the realization of organizations' vision to eradicating poverty and promoting social justice. And comes with more than 27 years of experience in development work. Worked with Nigerian Labour Congress as Assistant General Secretary between 1992 and 1996. She also served in various capacities with USAID for over 10 years, providing technical support to ensure NGO sustainability for 155 partner-based organizations across Nigeria, and as a child survival specialist, amongst others. Albeit an educationist, Ene is also a feminist and has cut her teeth in women's movement as a staunch member of the Women in Nigeria movement. She is an activist and began her activism in the student union as first female president of the Students' Union Government of University of Jos. She has suffered several detentions and jails by military government in the quest for Nigerian democracy. Ene is a social scientist who is passionate and committed to social justice and human rights struggles, women and girls' rights, gender, economic literacy, and political empowerment, democracy, and governance. She is a graduate of English education and holds a master's degree in political science and another master's in international law and diplomacy, MILD. She is currently undergoing a PhD course in political economy and development studies. So join me together here as we welcome our very own amiable Mrs. Ene Obi. Thank you so much. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, distinguished senator and my sister, Reverend Victoria. I want to say congratulations to all of you who are present. Congratulations for all that you have been doing, because today is about celebrating civil society organizations. Because we work all the time. I'm happy that such day exists, and we hardly still have time to come to terms with what we want to do. All of you are doing, committing your time, your energy, your work life. Some of you commit, of course, committing your finances. And I want to say a big thank you to Victoria, because one area that which Senator Ajoko has tried severally to engage me, because of the busy nature of my work. My work, I'm just my life is not for me. My life is about others. So sometimes when I don't respond to you, it's not because I don't want to respond. I really don't have time for myself. And today I'm having about 4 meetings. I rushed out of one meeting to this. I had spent the last how many days training the national women leaders of the 19 political parties. This has been my life, and moving on from here, moving to another meeting. So the NGOs, civil society people have really contributed heavily to the democracy that we have today. I'm going to put off my video so that it doesn't what I'm doing, if you don't mind. So I just want to look through from the theme, just going through the theme about empowering grassroots movements for a sustainable future. I will come back to the Sustainable Development Goals, because the way it deals with it the world will also want you to look at what is the contribution of the NGOs, for example, to the Sustainable Development Goals that we are having, and how do you connect that with empowering the grassroots, for this future that we all long for. We need to look at harnessing the power of the local action for global change. We need to be able to, because it's not just in empowering, how does change happen? Change does not happen at up there. Change happens if you can do it from the grassroots level. So when you want to look at that, let us look at, start from the introduction, which talks about what are grassroots movements. This is driven by ordinary people at the local level. It is focusing on addressing community-based issues and it is rooted in a shared sense of purpose and the belief of local solutions to global problems. Because if you want to connect it, goal 1 of the SDGs talks about poverty. No poverty, end to poverty, or however you place it, that there should be no poverty. How do you change that when at the smallest unit of the society is the family? What is happening currently? We need to be able to appreciate it from there. And we are having this discussion at a time where about 100 million Nigerians are below the poverty line. And this is rooted, so we have the grassroots rooted in a shared sense of purpose and the belief of local solution. Because if people know what is wrong, they know what they can do for themselves, but how do you engineer them to be able to do that? And why do we focus on grassroots approach? The direct involvement of the people who understand the local context is very, very important. They need to be involved because you can't seek solution for people from the top. And in empowering the communities, you will then be able to address the challenges that they face. They will be able to address the challenges because you don't talk on their behalf. Yes, we have some opportunities that they are not there, but when they are there, we prevent people. And this has generated a lot of, a lot of responses, kickstarted so many local organizations. I have a number of you here who are dedicating yourselves, who want to use your resources into helping people at the community level. It is key, grassroots is key to achieving sustainability and address issues like climate change, inequality, and environmental degradation. But I'm even talking about, I'll go down to the 17 Millennium Development Goals, and you see why these goals will never be achieved unless we're able to deal with it. We have, the role of grassroots movement in sustainability. I want to pay attention. One, sustainability is about meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. One of the areas is looking at the economy. By supporting the local economies and creating sustainable livelihood. And then you look at the social side. That's the second point, is look at the social side by promoting equality, justice, and social cohesion. If you look at the environment, protecting the natural resources and promoting eco-friendly practices, we are all alive and seeing what is happening in terms of climate change. Now we're having flooding every day. Every year now we have flooding. And with the government don't seem to know that flooding is happening. Is disempowering people, is plunging many communities into serious suffering. And so community-driven protection can help. It can help even in water conservation. They can come together because you see that many communities do not have water. But Nigeria has one of the biggest torrential rainfalls. But all of that water, we allow it to come and pass. In other places, they do water harvesting and different management. If you train the community, they will be able to conserve water for their own environment. So you are looking at that. And then empowering marginalized voices in decision-making from the community that NGOs have their voices are heard. The other point I want to bring up is the key areas where grassroots movements are making a difference. One is environmental. The community-based, conservation efforts like reforestation, land restoration, and so on. So many of you here are doing great work. Some grassroots initiatives to reduce plastic waste and also promoting recycling. Some people are doing fantastic work with recycling. And they are not funded. We have the issue of renewable energy, which such as solar, wind, and biomass energy, empowering communities to become energy independent. There are a lot that are doing that, and there are so many organizations. So by bringing NGOs together, you can share ideas for what is happening in one community and how you can also borrow from the other side of the community. In this network, you'll be able to borrow what some people are doing and how you can also harness what you are doing and to access funding for this environment. Now, food sovereignty and local agriculture, community-led farming initiatives, can promote sustainable agriculture. It is when they come together and you empower them. When we were growing up, we had, extension workers, agric extension workers that monitor farms, go to people's farms to see what they do, because they believe that what they are doing in the community is what they use to feed, the country. And so there was a lot of agriculture and promoting biogas, wastages coming together, looking at the network of farmers on specific, items that they can come together, promote, that unity and protection of their crops as well. Another area is social justice and equity. By addressing their social inequalities and empowering the marginalized communities, you are able to do a lot. And then also empowering them for climate justice and environment as well. Matter. You are building local capacity. You are developing skills and knowledge within local communities. You are ensuring sustainability and self-reliance as well. You are also, because that is building local capacities. You are also fostering ownership and accountability. You are creating scalable models, like small-scale successful projects can be expanded to other regions because within the network, you share lessons learned. And then you're mobilizing public support of those who are marginalized. There are some key strategies for empowering movement, education and awareness. By raising, the importance, you need to be able to educate people and on the importance of sustainability when you are doing anything. By providing the capacity building and resources to local leaders and activists within the environment, because you alone cannot solve the problem. Access to resources itself. By training people, you can build their capacity for proposal writing, for them to access so many tools, so many fundings, and also, promote other organizations. By partnering with organizations and government bodies to provide resources. Very, very important. But one thing that I want to stress here is about accountability. You need to be accountable. You need to promote accountability. Transparency and accountability is very, very important. That's what some of the funders will look at when you are working as an NGO. And that's an area that you many times will have to enhance the capacity of those who are working at that level. A CEO does not become the accountant. You can supervise the accountant. I know that sometimes when you start, the resources are not many. And so it's very, very difficult for you to hire people. And when you hire and train, other people will poach. So there is a lot of confusion there. But you have to work on building your transparency and accountability systems to be able to promote the organization. And then building strong networks to support, of support and solidarity like what you have. Advocacy and representation is another, area that we need to focus on. By empowering the local voices at the local level, you connect them to the national level, and many times too, to international policy discussions. Now they can join even UN meeting from a local environment because of the platforms that many have had, providing that platform for the marginalized voices, like the CSW is coming now, the Commission on the Status of Women is coming now. People can join online, and I have seen this to be very, very effective. You have different case studies of movements. You have the Chipko movement of India. You have Chikoko movement. You have the Zero Waste movement. You have La Via La Via Campesina International, a global movement that advocates for food, sovereignty, and so many other organizations. So when you focus, some of the challenges for local, for grassroots movements is lack of funding. Many of them are struggling because when you go and put your organization, number one is you need space to set up your office, to mobilize dependency on external aid organizations, and that sometimes the sustainability becomes a huge challenge. You have the political and institutional barriers. You have sustainability, of the movement itself, because a lot of people, to know whether the movement can remain active and relevant over time is a different thing, because many times movements occur because of a certain issue. And so does it exist? Does it continue? But what you have is you have the network, and the network is what, the grassroots is what gives the richness to the network. How can we support grassroots organizations? Promote it through policies that encourage local community-led initiatives and sustainability. Regulations that promote, and protect community rights and also empower local leaders. We can invest in capacity building of people, because there is a lot that many people don't know, and you can build their capacity. Public awareness and the media as well, using the media, the social media platforms to amplify grassroots, issues and also raise awareness. And be data. One of the things when you want to go on advocacy, when you want to promote anything, is to be guided by data. It's important to do your research so that when you are talking, people are listening, also know that you know what you're talking about. You can collaborate with technical assistance, foster, collaboration. Somebody is trying to get me by force, and that is pulling in. If you look at the Millennium Development Goals, in joining this movement, the first goal is no hunger, goal 1. I don't know, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead, please. We can hear you.
It is breaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody is desperately, somebody has called me like 10 times. I'm just going to tell her, because let me tell her that I'm in a meeting. She can leave. Okay. Okay, so if you look, Millennium Development, no to poverty. When I was growing up, no Nigerian child picked up from the dustbin, but today Nigerian children are picking from the dustbin. And Don't go far when they tell you that about 100 million Nigerians are below the poverty line. You can understand. From your own environment, you can understand that. And how do you rectify? How do you get, if you are not working at the grassroots, there is no way you can realize that goal. The second goal is zero hunger. Hunger is killing people in Nigeria. I don't know about your own local community, but they are, people are dying of hunger. And so for you to appreciate and to be able to eradicate hunger, you can't but go to work at the community level, at the grassroots level. So root is bringing, not ignore. You talk of good health and well-being, which is the goal 3. How do you achieve that when you have more than 800 women dying annually in Nigeria? 800 women die out of pregnancy, in terms of maternal death rate. I used to know that it used to be 870 something thousand many years ago. It has not changed. When I was in public health, it has not changed. General, when about 100 million or 100 million people are below the poverty, right now you can't even buy medicine like 700%. I don't know that recently. Quality of our education, you all know, but education has fallen down. That the community level, talking about, see, paying leave service. Where do you start it from? From the community and the patriarchal nature of our society. Goal 6 is talking about clean water and sanitation. And a lot of people don't have water. What is the approach that you do at the community level? These are some of the things that you must look at. Affordable and clean energy. If you don't work at the community level, there is no way that you can approach that. So which goal are you going to, or Nigeria going to account for today? Goal 8 is decent work and economic growth. So many of our children are at home today because they have nothing to do, because there are no jobs. Industrialization, unless we're able to pay. We have Nigerians they have the volume energy that needs to be curtailed, needs to be utilized for the development of Nigeria, but that is not being utilized. Industry, infrastructure. Where is that happening in Nigeria? And in any community that you bring in an industry, you know that place will be improved because it will provide jobs. Reduced inequalities. We are still dealing with all of this. The disparities between the rich and poor in Nigeria is way out of line. Sustainable cities and communities is goal 11. You go to, how do you sustain a city if you're not working at the community level? And then goal 12 is talking about responsible consumption and production. And then climate change as goal 13. You have goal 15, life on land. 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. You all know what is happening in Nigeria. And goal 17, I want to pay attention to that because it's a partnership for the goals itself. Partnership is very, very important, and that's why we are partnering with people from the community to the national, to the international, and so on. And so from these goals, I just want to say that looking at, as I every one of you today, I want to say a big well done, because sometimes the government is hitting us hard. I am right now to look at in terms of funding for because international organizations. But these international organizations, in many cases, is their government money. So what is happening to our own government money? Why are we not able to get money from our government, so use it for the people of Nigeria? Why can't civil society people bring on board that? So I want to just, say here that you are doing a great job. The work that you are doing is for humanity. So it's not between you and anybody, it's for humanity. And the result, I believe that we all will be accountable when we go to our Father in heaven. But there's a lot that is going on. For some of you who are just starting, it can be teething problems. There's a lot that you are doing. And at the end of the day, it's not to give up. And I hope that this network is able to sustain you, and we can easily post when there is funding available, for you. I worry about even those with the elders, and that's why I really appreciate what you are doing. Many people are not working, focusing on the elders to now solve the issue. At first was looking at the youth. Now, there are some organizations that are coming on board right now that are working with the elderly. And I was very, very excited about that. And the Victoria and Senator Eze, so that you'll be able to access the kind of funding. So I want to pause now for questions to come back to me. Thank you.
Please. Yes, thank you so much. So much information in a very short time. I don't know if our listeners were able to put down anything, but we want to assure them that they will get this on our YouTube channel much later. I want to appreciate what you've said before I start taking the question, said very much with let people know what is wrong and what they can do for themselves, but know how to go about it, as a community. I think that is where the NGO thing comes in. The time when I get in touch with people, they really don't go about galvanizing the community. Probably we would have to have a webinar on skills, or how do we actually go about bringing in grassroots, galvanizing or bringing together people in the grassroots to be able to express themselves as a community. It's one thing to set up an NGO, it's another thing to know how to actually harness your goals or your dreams concerning that NGO. And then you also told us about how NGO is supposed to represent the people's voices, but in this time, in this day and age where communication is very expensive, you go to TV houses and they're telling you just to have a chat. How do you begin to be a voice for the people? What is the easiest way to go about this? I think I want to know more about that. I like the fact that you actually emphasize so much on the millennial goals and actually explained it to a large extent. So for anybody that doesn't understand what the Sustainable Development Goals is all about, the person should be able to leave this webinar with a lot of knowledge. So at this point, I want to stop without repeating everything you said and then see if we have questions. If you have any questions, please do well to put it in the chat room or put up your hands, but I'll be taking the chat room first before we take the hands.
Can I respond to the question that how do you go about mobilizing the community? Yes. In the first place, when you started your NGO, you have what is your goal? There is something that you're doing before you go and start doing it. And so while doing it, so you know your target group, you know the target already, you know in which community and all of that. One of the things that we always have with us is the African environment is a bundle of humility. People appreciate when people are, and so that you want to help people does not mean that you go there and command them. And so you must be humble to explain to people, sometimes you want to help people, you come, they will chase you away.
Yes.
They will chase you away because they don't understand you. They don't know you. And so do you have people from the local environment? How do you, because when you want to go on advocacy visit is not one day. You go to study the community. You go to the environment. You start moving to the environment, to know the people, the opinion leaders, the opinion shapers, before you even pay a visit to the traditional ruler. And so it's very, very important. And so by the time you have had one of who are from, when you go there, because you need to do you first assessment for the environment before you bring on board, because the need that you are thinking that people have may not be the need that they actually want. So have you assessed them for them to actually tell you that is difficult to write a proposal and then you want to implement it? People will know you. That's not what we need. And there was a place that I was working that we almost chased out, and that was I think we were working, and we went to this village in Sanyawa local government in Kano, Dadarawa, very far, Tazan. Before Dadarawa, you will get there, and he said, "Why are you chasing us with the issue of immunization?" We said, "We don't want. We don't want. So why are you still chasing us with this issue of immunization?" And so, and one of the things that I used to do is, if I go to any state that I'm going to work, what is the issue about? That one, it was on health. So my first port of call is the Ministry of Health, the Office of the Director of Public Health. Explaining the thing, and they said, you can go ahead. That's where, you then move forward. And so we had gone through training of the State Ministry of Health, and then some staff of the State Ministry of Health, and also the local government staff. And now we are going to the community villages. They know them. And so we went to the bush environment, but there were 200 men that are, and they will now ask that question: why are you chasing us with immunization? It's me because I wasn't expecting that kind of question, but because we have, and everybody is making a difference. I just say everybody above 30 years should raise their left hand, move their clothes and see number. They call it number in Hausa, they call it number, where you have immunization. And he said it was the Nigerian government that was saving your children, saving you from, smallpox at that time. Many of you are alive. Those who were affected by smallpox, who refused to be immunized, if you see their face, you can tell the story. Then he said, so do you want your children to be on the floor the way they are, those who are with disabilities? Do you like them? That's why we are chasing you, because Nigerian government did it for you and you are not doing it for your children. They say, okay, talk, let's hear now. And so because you have explained yourself and they know where you are coming from. So don't protect, do not, if you are going to a village, do not be the decider of some of the things. The communities. And with that, you'll be able to work with them. Mobilizing communities, it depends on the issue. And then the media billing that talked about. I have never paid any media to appear with the media. It depends on the issue. Like on this NGO day, they should be looking for those who will talk on NGO day. They are looking, they're waiting and looking for those for resource. And so it's the resource people that we're talking about. And so I just want to let you know that, billing is when you want to advertise something that you have to pay in any case, but you can talk to me anytime if you're having, problems with that as well. I have never paid to be on there unless there is a particular advert to something, unless they are covering us when you're having a press conference. Yes, you give them transport fare. And as a result of that, you get invited. I go to the news all the time. I have never paid a dime. Neither do they pay me, because the number of times that I attend, it looks like people think that I do, by appearing there. Nobody sacrifice to humanity.
Okay, good to know. It's very good to know, and I guess would media houses, especially try and register under the particular NGO or cause we are advocating for. That time comes, they will be able to call us. At this point, I will thank you very much for the input. Very enlightening. And I hope we all have questions. Can we take your questions now? We take your questions now, please.
Maybe they have no question. I have succeeded in confusing people.
No, I don't think so.
No questions.
Okay, so you maybe you talking. There is no question at this point.
Okay,
But I have one or two questions. I actually wanted to see if any other person had questions. So probably I should go on with my questions.
Let me make my comments first.
Okay.
Thank you very much for a lot of things you have said.
One
thing that people are excited about is when you talked about Nigerian Fund and also some other people you are that are getting interested in the work of older persons. Our coalition, as you know, is a network of more than 150 members, all doing one thing or the other to support the older persons. And the biggest problems our members confront is that additional support, either directly from government or from international organizations. This is a major, major problem for COSROPIN members. It's an area we would like to have you from time to time encourage us, talk to us about how to go about it. Because we have all these community-based programs and funding is a problem. So it's an area we would like you to please put an eye into and help us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Senator. Do you want to respond?
One man, Eddie Breeze, has a hand up.
Just before I take that, I wanted to just ask, and that is something you said about the CSW for women, all those organizations or movements for women. How do we access them? And then how do we join them if it's possible?
Okay. The funding that we're talking about, the funding for the organization is something, I don't know how you are linked with other social protection platforms. That I will ask you later. And if I have information, I can give it to you. I will give it to you. But the funding right now, I know that some organizations are coming in, and I will get in touch with you in due course. And I'm really, really excited that there are so many organizations in this area that I have not really known. I know that Senator has tried, he has been trying, to get me to get in what
She
didn't know
said,
that there were so many organizations that were working in this area. So I can tell you, if it is promotion of the network, I definitely will. I will. But for the CSW, it's already late to approach. But in terms of registration, I will find out whether you can, and see what happens, and I'll let you know as
okay.
well.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. At this point,
So we
I
have
would
two
like
people
to.
who
we
are.
have a question. Oh, we have a question. I have a question.
Yeah. Oh, I know. At this point, I would like to take the hands that are up. And we have somebody here, woman Edivery. Can we have you now, please? Kindly unmute and ask your questions. Or is it contribution? All right. So while we wait for you, can Sarah Anyanwu kindly speak?
Okay. Thank you very much, ma. Good afternoon, President and our guest speaker and all the participants physically present and online. I want to ask, ma, is there any initiative or policy for the senior citizens like our own group here, COSROPIN, whereby after retirement, tired and you still want to go back and work, you can have access to job opportunities? I know that employment rates even is on the high side for the even graduates and the youths. But you can see that for people living with disabilities, they always have their quotas in most of all these things. Do we have the same for the elderly people, the senior citizens, like for our platform like this? Thank you, ma.
This is quite tricky. And is that question for you or for Senator?
The question is whether elderly people can still be involved. We're talking about grassroots environment. We have elders in the grassroots. We have young people at the grassroots level. And so it's very, very important that noise at the background. Are you okay with it? Can you hear me well? Okay. So we have to make ourselves useful in our environment. And so our contributions can be done from the community level. Very, very, we should not, I wish there's a video. I wish I have it, but I will send it to Victoria to send it to the platform. Somebody retires at even at 70 and thinks that it is ended. If you're retiring at 70, it is more, you see, you have people who are before, and so you cannot, because when you go old, reserve of knowledge, there's such reservoir there, and the society is lucky to have you in the community where you are, and so you can still serve either as councillors or either at any level at all. You can still serve, and so there is no. You need to register in the political parties and be involved in it if you want to register or be part of the movement at your community level. So there is no age barrier. Donald Trump is how old? But even in our own, how old is Baba Tinubu? So you are warmly welcome to participate. There are no rules or quotas for now, but that's a discussion that we can continue to have.
Hello. That's my question.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon.
Okay, go ahead.
My question is this. Registration of NGOs with CEC is so expensive. Do you expect people, others, or a group of people have come together who really want to join themselves together so that they can be able to motivate, do something? The CEC is as 100,000 naira if I'm right.
No.
But The cost of registering an NGO with CEC is so expensive. To me, or maybe I have the wrong knowledge or impression.
I think I'll just
I
tell
heard
you
somebody
that.
say no, so I think somebody seems to know better.
Yes,
Who is the person saying no?
I wanted to respond to that. I was the one saying no. It's not that expensive because we just registered an NGO for women in my church, and it did not cost more than 90,000. It did not cost more than 90,000. So I think it's the lawyer you are using or whoever is advising you.
Okay, I will get connected with you so that you can give us a guide since you have already have an idea and you have answered the question. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Hello, can I throw more light on that?
Yes, please.
Hello, good morning, Senator, our guest speaker, and everyone present. Good morning. This is Rachel.